All right, tell me, what's the show about?
It's...
Wait. We got it. Okay. What's the show's name?
Okay, well, it's simple. After opening an account on Instagram, I wanted to meet a few of the illustrators that inspired me. And that's just what I did. I'm just letting you know I'm here in Utah right now waiting on Jake to get out the shower. He's a next level artist. I'm sure he's one of those people that you really don't need to introduce. Our art styles are different in the sense that he has a lot of talent.
Here's the thing. So I grew up in Mesa, Arizona. I knew a handful of artists. My friend's mom, my art teacher. I knew a guy who was an illustrator who painted like those ceremonial plates. I didn't know any artists that did the kind of art that I actually was consuming. I knew they were out there somewhere, but it was like a unicorn, right? Unicorns, concept artists. I was just doing art all growing up because I loved it and I didn't know how to do anything else. What did we decide I'm gonna draw?
Okay.
What do you want to do?
But I am a big fan of mixing. Like, I love cute when it's dangerous. I love dark when it's happy, but I love mixing the opposites.
You know what would be awesome?
What's that?
Is an octopus driving a crab tank. That's what we should do. One thing I like to do when I'm drawing, like I've got my concept here, but the way I like to take it to the next level is actually have the characters doing something energetic or something that might tell a little story to it.
I watched a couple of your videos, and one of which you were talking about Inktober, which, by the way, I got every bit of everything I believe that you intended Inktober to be. It's not just got better at it, but now it became part of my daily,
Well, the basis for the whole thing is positive drawing habits, right? And not, basically getting over yourself and realizing, okay, it's not about making the greatest drawing, it's just about being consistent. If people actually do it the full 31 days, it's almost like, when you're riding a bike and your dad's pushing you, and then you're like, okay, you can stop pushing, and you realize he's way back there. You're into that mode, and on day 32, you're there. And that's really what it's about, is doing this, improving yourself, doing something for yourself, and getting better in the process. There needs to be this self-awareness, right? So it's I'm never gonna be able to paint as good as James Gurney. Right. So, and I'm aware of that, and I know that, so I don't have to feel bad that he's way better than me. Do you guys mind if I snap what I'm doing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I'm just doing a drawing with these guys, and so I want to share with you guys the drawing I'm doing. This idea Jesse gave me, he said, do something cute and something menacing. So I didn't think I did the menacing part, but I got the cute part down.
One of the things that I've talked with other illustrators about is my sketchbook, or lack thereof. I don't show my sketchbook off. I don't, because it's what I work on to get to the pieces I show off.
Right. Well, it's a true sketchbook, it sounds like. Some artists don't have sketchbooks. They're called sketchbooks, but they're actually illustration books. Right.
They're bound, they're bound. This is where I keep my collection of awesomeness. And that's what I saw when you started flipping through yours, and I'm like, I'm gonna go to his house, and I'm gonna find the one on the bottom shelf that, this is the book he worked on to make this book. But
yeah. Do you want to go?
We're gonna go check that out.
Let's talk about it.
Grab my bag.
So Jesse's interviewing me. We're talking. I don't know. We're not interviewing, right?
It's not an interview. It's hanging out together.
We're just hanging out together.
Say we're friends.
I'll let you guys know when it's all done.
Say we're friends.
What do we got here?
We got. There's your sketchbooks, and then there's human sketchbooks.
Let's see that. I'm gonna dig it.
All right, here we go.
I want to hold it. Can I hold it?
Yeah, but then I can't control where you're going.
Nope. Here we go. All right, so Jesse's sketchbook,
in the middle,
page 1.
In the middle. For the love of God.
Do you actually do card games?
Yeah, card games, board games.
That's awesome. One thing that separates amateur from a pro is a pro knows when to abandon a drawing and just start over.
Yeah, and overworks it sometimes, maybe.
Right, and I see you're doing the same thing. Okay, this isn't working. Let's go next. Not working.
I do not do robots, and you can see this is a great example. That was the first one I did. You can't even see what it was.
Right.
You can't even see what it was.
What a horrible drawing.
This is a robot? But I put the spaceman in a robot that quick. I was like, wait a minute. I'm not focusing on the robot anymore. I'm focusing on the world, and the robot will live in my world.
And I think what you figured out there is like so key for artists, is that instead of thinking like I'm drawing a car, it's got to be a car, think I'm drawing a character who is a car. Right. You know, and so I'm going to approach it the same way. How do I show that this car has been somewhere and is something instead of just a car?
Right, and it only took me 40 years to get that concept.
So I studied Bill Watterson's work a lot, and I always just felt like his stuff was so believable. Whenever he would try to do the more realistic looking things, and I realized he wasn't afraid to add shadows and actually like hide stuff. And I was a big detail guy. Like I wanted to show all the details and show how well I could render out the details and everything. And I realized like he was doing these things that still had detail, but half of them were shrouded in shadows. And I realized like that's what adds the believability.
I want to get to your sketch book.
My sketch book. You'll see, I mean, as you flip through, you'll see there are these pages where I'm working stuff out. But I'm getting to a point now where I can do something finished and polished in like a really quick amount of time, where it used to be like a labor, like 3 hours spent on this thing, where now it only takes an hour.
This, you use your gray Copics, and it looks like one value, or maybe two?
Yeah, I'll usually mix it up with a warm and a cool. Like I'll save the cool grays for metal, like really exposed metal stuff.
I didn't even know you could do that. I never mix cools in warms. I thought that was like the taboo. You know? And I'm sure I've got that from somebody. You know, so it just shows that it works. You know,
I'm largely like self-taught. I'm learning the same way I guess you are from other artists and stuff. Right. And so I don't know if I picked that up or I'm just like experimenting and stuff.
But it works. So
yeah, it works.
You know, it doesn't matter.
Traditionally, I was pulling a lot from Mike Mignola as far as like the way that he will compose an image, in that everything's very clear and he'll sacrifice a cool pose just for clarity. Mobius, I was looking at a lot of his stuff too, just, I don't know, a lot of it for like the way he would render and just the creative way he would go about like telling stories with his drawings. And that's something I try to do with everything is you're not just seeing a concept, you're seeing a story like halfway being told. I want people to look at my work and be taken somewhere, taken out of whatever moment they're in and put into the moment that I'm trying to share.
Well, I can tell you now while watching it, I stand corrected. I was saying, you know, he's doing what I do. It's just, you know, we're two different people, we have two different trains of thought, we're going to draw two different things. But what I'm seeing now, your ink strokes have an extreme amount of confidence. And I think that's going to be, you know, what a lot of illustrators struggle with, because it is ink. It's not going anywhere. It's very unforgiving.
Yeah.
And, you know, I guess it's just the years of forcing yourself to do it and whatnot. But that's what I'm definitely picking up on, is when that pen touches the paper, it knows where it's going.
That just comes from doing a lot of drawing. For a long time, I was not confident with ink. And I would do, I would draw things really tight with my pencils and then go over in ink and just basically trace over my pencil lines in the ink. And it just got tiring because I was like, man, I'm drawing everything twice. I was doing Astro Boy, and I did this one. I did this one first. I was like, didn't quite nail it. Let's do this one. I like that a lot better. And I was just thinking how iconic this character was, and how he, you know, his design, his style really drew from Mickey Mouse, and that's what they were doing. The Japanese were doing back then. Is that they loved Disney cartoons, and they were making their versions, telling their stories. And so I did another one, and then I was like, wait a second, let's do Mickey Mouse as a robot. And I started sketching this. I was like, no, Jake, let's do it for real. Let's do a real version of it.
So next level. That's just amazing.
So I did this, and I thought, oh, that's really fun. Posted it online. people really liked it. So then I started, well, obviously I got to do Donald next. Here's my preliminary sketches for that, trying to figure.
Yeah, see, and I'm wondering how much you were drawing from your original. I guess at this point you now have the mechanic in your head.
And like here, I'm like, do I make it all like floating pieces, or do I
Let's take the Astro Boy approach.
Attach it, right? So then I did Donald, and I'm like, Donald is, I mean, it's cool enough just to make him a robot, but let's make it a little more exciting and give him battle damage. And then that led to, I did these, I did this one.
See, that's great. That's great.
Right, and that actually took me a while to figure out, like, how do I do Flounder as a robot? And then I went, let's go really more.
What's great is that you put enough of this, you remove her, maybe it would be enough alone, but you remove her and remove the coloring, and that looks nothing like, you know, there's no connection to that in Flounder. By simply doing that, it just, that's brilliant.
Well, I'm not the brilliant one. The Disney artists are the brilliant one. They're the ones that are saying, okay, we need to make an iconic character. Let's do the green and the red, these complementary colors. Let's offset it with some purple. Flounder, let's you know, these basic primary colors. And yeah. Okay, now I got them inked. These guys are working on the crab tank, getting it all fixed up. I'd heard all this stuff about Instagram. I was like, oh, I'll try it out. And initially I was like, I don't know what to use it for. So I was like, here's my kids, here's my dinner, you know. And then I was like, I posted a sketch I was working on, and all of a sudden I went from getting 12 likes to 24 likes on a picture. And I was like, oh, you guys like it when I post art on here.
We would have thought something I do every day.
We talk a lot about, are you good enough as an artist? And, you know, this guy's a better artist, this guy's worse, whatever. I think really what it comes down to, especially now because the internet gives a voice to everybody, is your drawings can be so-so if your ideas are like grade A. You know, if your ideas are really good, it doesn't matter if you're not the best at executing.
Look, we're all done here. We've been here for a couple hours, best hours of my week. Want to present this to you, Jake. This is from Ralph Thomas, the creative sketch wallet. Yeah, and he said he wanted to give everybody a hoodie.
I love it. That's awesome. And here's the drawing.
And if y'all check this out, whoever, big man here.
So
this is his cute things with his menacing thing.
Yep. So you guys take that and do with it whatever you want to do with it.
We will.
Help it find a good home.
It will definitely find a good home.
Cool.
So, all right, bud. Well, it was beyond a pleasure.
Yeah, good meeting you.
Excellent meeting you.
Great. Now get out of here.
I don't know.